Do you ever just want to hit someone the way that you used to be able to?
Yeah. Sometimes I would love that to just
lower the shoulder.
We might laugh, we might learn, we might be your games with and peace.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the SoccerGirl Pod. This week we're chatting with English national team and Gotham defender Jess Carter. We talked about her path to confidence, representing England at the world stage, and what she's learned about leadership, visibility, and staying grounded in a sport that's constantly changing.
I love that we also got to talk about how she is super direct with her communication. And that didn't work so well for me when I was in college. I always felt a little bit nervous around those types of players, but it was really cool to hear her just talk about learning to communicate with her teammates and how she likes to be communicated with. So
yeah, and I think Jess has already proved that she's a New Yorker. She's got a favorite pizza spot, her favorite bagel order, and she's driving on the Jersey Turnpike. So welcome to New York, Jess. Thank you so much for coming on. We're so excited to chat with you today. Let's just dive right in, right? We'll go back in time. I know you made your senior debut when you were just 16 years old, which is unbelievable. What do you remember about those early days? And did you know then that this is what you wanted for your career?
Absolutely not. I had no idea. I didn't grow up knowing that I could be a football player. I just loved playing all sports, really. I just remember loving it and kind of just was playing football, and next thing I know, we were playing Champions League. And I felt like it just kind of happened. I mean, I say out of nowhere, obviously there was a lot of work, but at the time when you're 16, I don't think it feels like work. You're just kicking a ball around, having a laugh, having a good time. And then before you know it, it's a pretty big thing.
I was going to say, it's like a blessing and a curse to play with no stress or fear or anxiety attached when you don't realize how important the playing is that you're doing and you play really free at that age. How have you hung on to that and tried to continue to play free instead of letting the reality of how important a lot of these moments are get into your mentality?
Most of the time, I'm able to do that quite fine. Like, most of the time, I'm just someone who I'm going to go and do my best, and that is all I can do. So I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to do great at times, but there is literally nothing more than I can do than give my best in that moment. So
God bless for having that attitude. I wish I could have had that attitude when I played.
No, it's tough though. I remember at times in this most recent Euros, a lot of these games was the first time I've experienced being nervous or being stressed or worried about my performance. And that definitely had an impact on how I played in the Euros. So I've been lucky enough to not have to worry about that for 10 years. And then it hit me in the Euros a little bit. The way we went into the tournament as a team, I don't think that we played that well throughout the year building into it. So I personally didn't go in with the most confident feeling that maybe we'd had previously. And then I think kind of not starting off the tournament great on a personal and I guess a team level in the France game was then felt obviously more pressure to have to then do better. Obviously Netherlands was great, Wales were great, but then obviously you then have other top opponents. It was only going to get harder and harder. And so I think that was for me kind of some of the main things as to why maybe it wasn't, I was feeling a little bit more nervous. And so yeah, I don't know what's different because there's always pressure. I mean, I've been lucky enough to play at the top clubs where there's huge pressure to perform. So I don't know what was different. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
What do you think helps you reset when you do feel soccer's overwhelming or there's a lot of nerves and stress around it?
I'm usually pretty good at switching off from football. I wouldn't say I'm someone who lives and breathes it that much. So when I get home from training or from the game, I'm pretty much over whatever happened, like a bad game or bad performance, whatever. Something quite rare that would kind of drag on a little bit for me. But I think just switching off, I'm a big family person and just kind of hanging out, literally doing anything besides playing or thinking about football, really. I kind of switch off from that quite quickly.
You mentioned family being important. Is there anything else like off the field that you enjoy to do or any hobbies?
Not particularly. I feel like I'm still trying to explore the US at the moment, whether it's just going to different nice coffee shops, experiencing different parts of New York with all the different cultures that are there. I think it's something I find quite exciting.
I gotta ask, what's your favorite pizza place in New York so far?
There is one. I have no idea what it was called. But there was one down by the World Trade Center that I actually recently went to. My partner was just walking past it one day. She said, it's about going in there. There was one of the more glamorous places I've been to.
Glamorous?
No. But it was so good. I want to say it was called like Hanks or something like that. Maybe we could have made it up. But it was really close to the World Trade Center. That was a good one.
Okay, you're high. I bet you know the name and you're just keeping it a secret, huh?
Honestly, I don't, but I'm sure she would have remembered.
Yeah, so you've been at Gotham for how long now?
Just over a year.
What do you think you've learned from the environment there that shaped you?
I think, firstly, just to enjoy the game. I think that sometimes in Europe, I think there's so much pressure that's put on football and athletes. And I think it's like a business. You don't really get treated as much as people. And since I've been at Gotham, you're a person first, I find. And that's what they see you as. And football is like something that you're really good at and they want to help you in. But it's not who you are. So I think trying to find ways to enjoy it and celebrate all of the little wins. I'm not really someone who gets too high or too low in either moments, which has been a blessing to help stay kind of, I guess, level-headed. But sometimes I missed out on celebrating some of the huge successes just because it's already been focused on, it's either an expectation or it's just I'll move on to the next one. But actually, winning the game is great. And those things should be celebrated as well. So I think that trying to remind myself to celebrate those successes is something that I really enjoyed at Gotham.
I love that advice. I know for me, I'm always thinking about the next thing and not like just being in the moment and enjoying what you're doing at the time. So it's good to celebrate those wins for sure. I'd love to know, what about leadership? Do you feel like your style of leadership has changed over time, or do you feel like you've always been the same type of leader?
I think I've always been quite vocal, but I have had to learn the ways to maybe say things. I think before, when I was a bit younger, I just would say it how I wanted to say it and wouldn't ever think about how that person would take it, because I'm quite a direct person, so I don't mind if you shout at me. I just see it as you're trying to help me. But I understand now that everybody needs that information in different ways. It can be a really difficult thing to do, but I think trying to remind myself that this person might need that extra bit of encouragement. The person next to me just needs to be told exactly and direct. So I think it's been quite similar, just maybe trying to learn that everyone needs to be spoken to a little bit differently, I think is something I'm still trying to learn now.
Yeah, I always feel like if someone was super direct with me, I'd take it a little personally and get a little bit gentler. But that's part of being a good teammate, is just learning how people want to be spoken with and what's going to be the most effective ways to communicate. I'm curious, while you have played, who have been some of the most impactful communicators to you?
I think, oh God, there's been so many. I remember when I was kind of like 16, I remember Joe Potter and Jade Moore really shouting at me because they are very direct and going to tell you exactly how they feel. And I remember at the time, I loved that. My family are normally quite direct, so I'm used to that and I really enjoyed that. And for me, that was, if they didn't care, they wouldn't be giving me that direct message. They wouldn't be trying to help me. But then on the other side of that, I had played with Magda Eriksson, and I think that she was someone who really tried to think about how people felt. And I remember a time in training, I shouted at somebody because I felt that they weren't doing the job that they are supposed to do. And she just turned around, she was like, Jess, that kind of came across as a little bit aggressive. And I didn't mean to be mean. I was just trying to give them instructions. And it was kind of one of those moments where actually I had to then think about how I was speaking to people, because what I thought was just trying to help and give instructions on what we needed to do could have been a bit mean. And I think that having that approach as well really made me think about, I guess, how I speak to people as well.
You guys also, English people, have such good banter that like sometimes we're sensitive when we don't need to be, you know? You have represented England at the Euros and the World Cup. Can you tell us about those experiences? Like, how has that changed you personally and professionally?
I think professionally, it's made me have to be more professional. It's made me have to realize that whatever standard I think I'm at, I need to raise, and I need to raise again in order to continue to compete at the highest level. I've always been someone who has been pushed by my surroundings and not someone who's super hyped to push myself. And I find that's something really difficult to do. So being in really top environments gets the best out of me. So from having to work and watch athletes playing at the top level at the World Cup and the Euros, and how they manage themselves every day to be ready for that next game in 3-4 days, has helped me realize what I need to do to be ready for every moment. From a professional level, that's really helped. Just on an individual personal level, I think trying to figure out what works for me, both on and off the pitch, and getting that balance right. International tournaments are so intense. You're away for a very, very long time. I'm not someone who loves to be away much at all. So trying to figure out what makes me happy in those moments where I can't escape and go to the theatre in New York or can't go to Hank's Pizza Shop or whatever it was. I think that trying to find those moments in camp where I can find my own joy and switch off, but also try to still be involved with the team and be a good teammate is something that takes time to find.
Well, you mentioned being a good teammate, which I think it's clear that you are, and you're such a role model to so many young players. Have you felt like there's pressure to be a role model?
I wouldn't consider myself a role model, really. I'm just someone who does what I love to do. So maybe in that sense it comes easy because I don't think I am one. So I am doing me. Obviously, as the game's growing, it's obvious that us as athletes are becoming bigger role models for the younger generation. Even though it's not something I didn't set out to be, it is really nice knowing that there is other girls and boys or people that look like me or from a background that I'm from that maybe are inspired by me and think that they can go and live out their dream in whatever sense that might be. I think that is a really nice feeling to know.
When you were younger, did you feel like there was that representation for you to see yourself in someone that was, doing what you're doing now? Or was there like a complete void of that? Was anyone that for you?
No, not at all. Not for me growing up. I didn't grow up knowing that I could be a women's footballer. I didn't know that it was a job. I didn't know it could be a thing. So I wish that I knew that earlier or I could see that earlier because it took me too long for me to realize that I could be a professional footballer. And I think about maybe if I knew that a little bit earlier, would I have taken things more seriously earlier? Could I have been at another level? Obviously, the journey I've had is incredible, but could I have been that little bit better if I'd have known better and done better a little bit earlier on? Obviously, a lot of the girls come up through academies or they knew that this was the route that they were going to go down and they learned a lot of skills a bit earlier on. I think that would have been great to have had a bit earlier on.
Maybe if that seriousness and the intensity of it all was introduced any earlier, it might have pulled from that, your ability to play free and to be able to go home after a game and shut off and turn that switch off. So it's it's totally a balance of the two things. But we're at the point now where half the people we interview grew up with the legends to look up to, and the half the people didn't have that when they were younger. So it's really cool to see that change, and it's really cool for you to be oh, I didn't have that when I was growing up, but now you can see around how many girls and athletes do have that now to look up to, which is just a really cool way that the game has grown. And of course, the game's going to continue to keep growing. Are there any ways that you would like to see it grow or change?
I think for me, it's just that everyone having the equal opportunity. I hate the fact that there's still so many players and teams who are doing the same thing I'm doing on a daily basis, putting in the same work with a lot worse facilities, access, pay. It's really hard to be the best you can be without having all of that. Having the opportunity to train at good training facilities with the right equipment, I think is really important in order to see people truly excel.
And now we know that you've been open about mental health and finding balance as an athlete. Do you have any advice for anyone that is feeling like they're going through the ups and downs of the games, or they feel like they're in a rut and they're trying to get out of it?
I think just remembering that you're not by yourself, firstly, you're never alone in any of that. And every player that you ever see kicking a ball around has gone through probably what you're going through at some point. I think remembering that football is not everything. It's a very short period of time and it's something that we all love to do. But outside of that, the other 22 hours that you do with your day is just as important as the 2 hours that you're on the pitch. So taking care of yourself is the only way that you'll be able to do what you love on the pitch.
I would love to know, what is something about you off the field that fans might be surprised to learn?
I used to play rugby at quite a high level until I was 16. And then I had to choose between football and rugby because Birmingham wouldn't let me play rugby anymore. So I had to choose between that and I chose football.
How similar would you consider those sports?
Very similar in the sense of you need the whole team. I think that is why playing football for me is about the togetherness, the feel that I have with my team over anything else. That's the most important thing to me. And I think the work rate that you have to put in rugby to win is the same thing that you need in football. That mentality of winning and the work rate to win is something that you also need in football to be successful.
Do you ever just want to hit someone the way that you used to be able to?
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes I would love that to just,
Lower the shoulder.
yeah, and all the players that I can't catch in the NWSL, that would be great as well.
All right, so you've had such a tremendous journey so far, and there's so many things for you to be proud of, but what is the thing that you are most proud of?
The ability to keep going is when there's been some really, really tough times, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch, is just being able to keep going and playing at the top level. I think it's something that's really hard to do. And a lot of people really go up and down in their journey, which is perfectly normal. But the ability to overcome some setbacks in your personal life and your professional life, but to just keep going is honestly, I think, my biggest achievement.
That crazy. And people idolize the trophy and the titles and all of that. And then when it comes down to it, it can be something that doesn't have a trophy or a name to it that is really what you're most proud of.
I'm lucky enough that I managed to win a really great amount in my career, and that's incredible. That winning feeling hasn't given me the same proud feeling of being able to just keep going and show up every day. It's great. It's something that we obviously all want to do, but the real work of having to turn up every day and put in that effort is a bigger achievement than winning any trophy.
When you think about your career long term, what kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I don't know. I'd want people to say that I was a great person, a good teammate. And
Everyone.
hope.
Yeah. It's unanimous. It is 100% that's the answer every time. And I want to scream it from the mountaintops. I did not mean to interrupt you, but I was like, she's going to say it. I know she's going to. But
Not everyone says it, but all are really good interviewers.
that is what is prioritized the most, for sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. Continue with what you were saying, but I love that.
You know, we play team sports. We all want to be good teammates, and we all know how important being a good teammate is. And without them, you will never be successful. A large proportion of athletes in a team sport will say that, because it's what we need to be every single day in order to be happy and be successful. On the odd occasion where when I've been an absolute grump at training or whatever it is, and I can't wait, and then afterwards, I felt bad about that today, just because of how it might have made someone feel, or it doesn't make you feel good when you're not in a good mood. So yeah, I think just that's really important to me. And hopefully at Gotham, it's a different experience. I'm learning a lot here, but I'm hoping that, my teammates will say that I've helped come in and raise the level, or put a different perspective in there to maybe how things were done at Gotham, or have been done from tactical to off the pitch, whatever it is. Hopefully they see that I've impacted Gotham in a really positive way.
Well, I have a feeling you're well on your way with that, because I think everyone we've spoken to has said like great things about you and what a great person and teammate you are. Keep it up. You're doing great. Alana, anything more before we roll into rapid fire?
Let's do it. We just have some questions that will maybe not make you answer so fast, but some rapid fire questions.
Well, I think I know this answer now, but what's one Olympic sport you would not come last in?
Rugby.
Yep.
All right, obviously soccer has you on the road constantly. What is one thing you are absolutely taking with you on an away trip?
My eye mask.
Can you sleep on planes?
No, very rarely.
Oh, so it's super important.
Such a sensitive sleeper.
That's hard for being away then.
For real, yeah.
If you could have dinner with any athlete, past or present, who would it be?
Serena Williams.
Have you ever met her?
No, never. She took over Chelsea. Her and her husband took over Chelsea just after I left, and I saw a nice picture of them in the changing room of the players. I think that's the most jealous I've probably ever been in my entire life.
All right, we're going to manifest this for you. I have a feeling you're going to go higher. What is one food that you could eat every single day besides Hank's Pizza and not get sick of?
Probably New York bagels. I didn't know I loved them before, but now I do.
Jess, we ate a New York bagel right before we got on with you. We were shoving bagels down our throats. There is nothing better. I live in Florida, but when I come to New York, that's the first thing I want when I get off the airplane.
Right, but what is your bagel order?
I think the first ever one I had in New York was some kind of steak thing. I don't even know what it was, but it had like steak. It was in a garlic bagel, and I still remember it. It was so good.
Wow.
That's good.
I'm a New Yorker, and I don't know if I've ever mixed steak with bagels before, but I'm...
And it just told me, it said specials, and I was like, caught that. I said, okay, I'll try it.
That sounds really good. What about on an off day? What's your go-to thing on an off day?
I always like to go for brunch somewhere. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. Drive to somewhere kind of a little bit different and go for a nice brunch. And I do love a show. It's not something that I do every day. Yeah. But yeah, on a nice occasion, that's really cool to do.
Like Broadway or like?
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to go to a few so far, so hoping to add more.
What's your favorite?
The Lion King.
Oh, it's so good.
I've seen it 3
I
times.
was going to say I've seen it.
I love the Lion King.
I saw it a couple of times in England and once in New York, and it's amazing every time.
So good. It's a classic. Also, you said driving. Do you drive in New York?
Yeah,
Wow, that's impressive.
I do remember my first time I came to New Jersey, and I'd visited first, and I didn't drive then. I was like, God, these drivers are crazy here. When I moved here, Anne was away at the Olympics, and she's like, I left the keys, whatever, and I was like, I'm going to get an Uber to training. We live about
Good luck.
15 minutes from the training ground. She's like, you'll be fine, etc. I was panicking. I made her stay on FaceTime for 15 minutes my whole way until I got there. I remember staying on like the outside lane, maybe the whole way, driving like 15 miles under the speed limit, absolutely panicking. And after I got to the training, I was like, that was absolutely fine. But people in New Jersey drive crazy.
Yeah.
There are no rules out here in these streets.
You're almost worse off for going slower and safer.
Well, good. I'm glad you conquered that fear, and now you're able to do it. That's great. What's a reality show you'd most want to guest star on?
Celebrity Getting Me Out of Here. Do you guys? I don't think you guys have that in the US. Do you?
No, someone else mentioned that too.
It's like Naked and Afraid. You ever watch that?
No, I've never had it.
Only America would come up with that show. They like dump you in the middle of like sub-Saharan
Air
Africa.
clothes, no cold,
And they're like,
in the hot.
survive, make it to the end point. And they're there for like a month.
Wow. Yeah, no, I watched this show so many times. And I say I'd love to do it because I could do the eating challenge or the drinking challenge or whatever. But the moment I see a spider, it's game over. So I'm probably going to last about a second in the jungle.
Yeah, not into. It sounds like Survivor. I'm not into the spiders either.
All right, and our last question. What is your biggest soccer girl problem?
Maybe the sleep, not being able to sleep on travel, actually. That would be really handy in the US.
Totally. That is a big soccer problem. Well, Jess, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to get to know you more, and we're so excited to continue to watch you just crush it on the world stage and in our home state of New York. So thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you.
Great. Thanks, guys. I really enjoyed that.
Well, that was great. Love chatting with our new fellow New Yorker, Jess. Make sure, everyone, that you follow us on everything, subscribe, like, listen, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Soccer girls, you know we got some problems. So tune in, know where we talking how to solve them. We might laugh, we might learn, we might be